5 minutes. That's all it took. In 5 minutes, your cup of coffee wouldn't even be half ready. Yet, in that same sliver of time, a team of masked thieves slipped into one of Europe's most secure treasure rooms, shattered bulletproof glass, and vanished with more than $100 million worth of royal jewels. No alarms, no trace, just 5 breathtaking minutes that rewrote art crime history. This is the true story of the Dresden Green Vault heist. To grasp why this theft shook the art world, picture Dresden itself. Nestled along the River Elbe in eastern Germany, Dresden has been called the Florence of the North for its Baroque architecture and glittering cultural legacy. In the early 18th century, it was the pride of Saxony, a city rebuilt after devastating fires and wars into a jewel of European art and science. Towering over the old town is the Royal Palace, a complex that housed kings, soldiers, and the treasures of an entire dynasty. Within those walls, Elector Augustus the Strong, one of the most flamboyant rulers of his era, ordered the creation of a treasure chamber unlike anything Europe had seen. Augustus loved spectacle. He collected everything: rare gemstones, intricate goldsmith work, ivory carvings, even bizarre natural wonders. In 1723, he opened his private collection to visiting dignitaries and named it the Grun's Jewel, the Green Vault, after the malachite-colored columns that lined its rooms. 8 interconnected chambers glittered with gold and diamonds. Visitors described the experience as stepping inside a gigantic jewel box. Centuries later, art historians still rank it among the most important collections of Baroque treasures in the world. Among its crown pieces was the Dresden Green Diamond, a 41-carat natural green stone of almost mythical rarity, and the Dresden White Diamond, a 49-carat marvel. Add in golden figurines, sword hilts encrusted with hundreds of tiny stones, and pearl-studded ornaments once worn by queens, and you have a collection beyond price. After World War II, the vault survived bombings that leveled most of Dresden. It was painstakingly restored and, by the 21st century, protected by state-of-the-art security. Infrared motion sensors, a sophisticated alarm network, bulletproof display cases, and cameras feeding a central monitoring room. Locals joked that the Green Vault was as secure as a bank vault, only more beautiful. No one thought it could be breached. Someone disagreed. Investigators now believe members of the notorious Remo clan, a Berlin crime family of Lebanese descent, spent months studying every detail of the palace. The Remos were no small-time crooks. They were a multi-generational network already suspected in the theft of a 100-kilogram Canadian Big Maple Leaf gold coin from Berlin's Bode Museum in 2017. They were known for meticulous planning and lightning-fast strikes. Surveillance footage later showed that scouts visited Dresden repeatedly, mapping camera angles, timing guard rotations, even loosening a section of the perimeter fence. November 25, 2019 began as a cold, damp morning. At 4:57 a.m., a fire erupted on the nearby Augustus Bridge. What looked like a random electrical blaze was no accident. It knocked out streetlights and a crucial power box that supplied external cameras and alarms. With the city momentarily in darkness, 2 figures dressed in black sprinted across the courtyard. They cut through the pre-weakened fence, pried open a small window, and slipped into the vault. Inside, they moved with military precision. Surviving security footage shows them wielding axes and crowbars, heading straight to the jewel room. They ignored other priceless artifacts and targeted one specific display case that housed diamond-studded epaulets, an ornate ceremonial sword hilt, and brooches shimmering with stones older than most nations. The case was shielded by bulletproof glass, but the thieves had come prepared. They swung their axes again and again, the blows ringing through the silent palace until the pane shattered. In less than 5 minutes, they had stuffed their haul into bags and retraced their path into the pre-dawn darkness. When police arrived, the thieves were long gone. News of the robbery went global before sunrise. How could one of the world's best protected museums lose hundreds of millions in jewels without a single guard intercepting the thieves? German Chancellor Angela Merkel called it a national tragedy. Dresden residents gathered outside the palace in disbelief. Some historians compared the loss to the looting of European art during World War II, when priceless works disappeared into private collections or were destroyed outright. The investigation quickly became one of the largest in modern German history. Hundreds of detectives combed through security footage, interviewed witnesses, and analyzed the fire scene on the Augustus Bridge. A burnt-out Audi S6 found in an underground garage became the first major clue. Forensic teams discovered DNA on the steering wheel that matched a member of the Remo family. The Remos were already under watch for the Bode Museum coin theft, but proving their involvement required a mountain of evidence. Over the next year, police executed sweeping raids across Berlin. In one dawn operation, more than 1,600 officers stormed apartments, garages, and workshops. They found weapons, cash, and encrypted phones, but the jewels remained elusive. Prosecutors pieced together how the clan allegedly planned the heist, dividing roles among cousins, using burner cars, and timing their escape through a labyrinth of city streets. Phone records suggested months of surveillance trips to Dresden, each time testing security responses. Trials began in 2022 and stretched well into 2023. In court, prosecutors described the Green Vault job as a family enterprise, a precision strike carried out with almost cinematic choreography. Several defendants eventually accepted plea deals, receiving sentences of 4 to 6 years in exchange for helping recover part of the loot. In a dramatic twist, negotiators arranged for 31 pieces to be returned, among them a breast star of the Polish Order of the White Eagle and a diamond-studded epaulet. The recovered items were valued at around 100 million euros, but experts immediately noted that some of the most famous stones, including the legendary Dresden White Diamond, were missing. Where are those jewels? That question haunts investigators. Some believe they were quickly recut and sold on the international black market, where untraceable stones can vanish into legitimate channels. Others think the Remo network hid them in secret vaults, waiting for public attention to fade. A few art crime experts speculate that private collectors may already own them, hidden away as trophies never to be displayed. Even with arrests and partial recoveries, a significant portion of the treasure may be lost forever. The case also exposed uncomfortable truths about museum security. How could a fire on a bridge disable critical alarms? Why were only a few guards on duty? Dresden officials have since overhauled their systems, adding independent power backups and reinforcing display cases. Yet the psychological wound remains. The Green Vault reopened, its glittering rooms once again dazzling tourists, but visitors now see the exhibits through layers of new glass, a reminder of how vulnerable even the grandest institutions can be. The Green Vault heist also sparked debate about Europe's ability to protect cultural heritage. Germany has suffered several high-profile art crimes in recent decades, from the theft of a priceless Stradivarius violin to the pilfering of medieval church relics. The Dresden robbery stands as the boldest of them all, combining old-school smash-and-grab tactics with careful modern planning. Law enforcement agencies worldwide now study it as a textbook case of how organized crime adapts faster than security technology. Imagine the audacity. 2 men, 5 minutes, and centuries of royal history reduced to a bag of glittering stones. In that brief window, they defied alarms, cameras, and centuries of confidence that such treasures were untouchable. 5 minutes. That's all it took to challenge the idea of an impregnable museum. Today, visitors still crowd into the Green Vault's Baroque chambers. They marvel at the recovered jewels, the mirrored walls, the endless sparkle. Yet a quiet space remains where empty mounts once held masterpieces still missing. Guides pause there, letting the silence speak louder than words. Somewhere in the world, perhaps in a private safe or broken into unrecognizable fragments, the rest of the Dresden treasure waits.